for 3 stoned idiots.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to count down.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
No, it's going to start from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Alrighty.
Way off. Way off. Well, that was an interesting intro.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Missed the countdown by at least 2 seconds.
Alright, whatever. Fuck
Yeah, it's a can opener. We don't play by the rules, you know what I'm saying?
We play by our own rules.
By our own rules. Well, welcome.
Who cares about rules?
They're meant to be broken.
Yeah.
I want anarchy. That's what
Let's
I
do
want.
it. Burn down everything.
Let's
Anarchy.
do it, man.
Yeah.
Start with the dumpsters, distract the people, and then you go for the buildings.
Although, have you seen like the people who like are on the bus and wear like anarchy t-shirts and shit? Like they look like so scrawny. It's like if an apocalypse happened and it was anarchy, y'all motherfuckers would be the first to die.
Yeah,
Like you're
motherfuckers.
so like you just like look weird. No one's gonna trust you. You're like, I was prepared, praising anarchy before it happened. It's like, okay, now that it's here, I don't fucking trust you.
Anarchy is an interesting thought when it comes to civilized society.
Yeah.
Think about how weird anarchy would be at this moment of time.
Have you seen the trailer?
Libertarianism, eh?
No, beyond that, bro. I'm talking total anarchy.
Like it might happen with Trump and Korea.
Like Purge times 4, like anarchy. That kind of anarchy.
The Purge would never happen. That's such a Rick and Morty really nailed it.
Cool idea for a story.
Yeah, cool idea for a movie.
Good for you. Yeah, that's a classic.
But I don't know. That's why I fucking hate the new Star Wars movies. They're not believable. Like in the original trilogy, the Empire was fucking scary. It at least looked scary. The new trilogy, it's fucking idiots commanding the army and the navy, and it's just so dumb.
It's a different time. They had their heyday. Jacob,
just have a good bad guy.
2 years ago, Jacob looked at me and was like, I've never seen Star Wars, bro. I was like,
any of them.
You have not lived a childhood. I don't even understand how you know some of the lessons that were taught.
Yeah.
They were probably taught to you habitually, purely through your peers.
Yeah,
honestly,
everyone who
but it was
saw
a classic.
Star Wars
But we watched Star Wars.
I sat down with Evan. I watched episodes 1, 2, and 3.
But they were actually 4, 5, and 6.
Oh, okay.
So I actually call them by the numbers on the video case. Because
which ones did we watch, Evan?
we watched the 4, 5, and 6.
The original trilogy.
The original trilogy, because I was like, we should watch that one first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And honestly, they were pretty good movies. I'm surprised they didn't get really famous or something.
Yeah. How much did Disney buy it for?
I have no idea.
Billion.
Yo, I'm
I think it
Googling
was a
that.
bill.
It's crazy. Anyways, so let's get to the introduction.
Yeah, introduce.
No, wait,
it's
wait,
your
wait, wait,
debut.
Okay.
Wait. So I'm Evan Stolpmann.
I'm Jacob Van Dyke.
Jacob Van Dyke is right in front of me.
Reoccurring guest.
You're basically a part of the amoeba.
That's honoring.
Well, it's true, dude. All right, you're here
I appreciate it.
until you are not here. Anyways, introduce yourself, sir.
Hi, I'm Ryan O'Shaughnessy.
What?
I don't really know how the fuck to introduce myself.
Well, how did we meet?
Oh, I don't even remember.
I don't remember.
It was on
either,
Res.
bro. That's why I was asking you.
I think
dude.
were you part of Drunk Choir at all?
No, I was
No?
I don't. But maybe I was so wasted that I just don't remember doing the choir.
Okay.
No, I definitely wasn't.
I think we might have met through Dalton then.
Definitely.
Probably.
Dalton.
No, yeah, that's
Shout out
definitely
to
how
Dalton
we met
Wood.
because you were kind of a hermit in Res, all the way up for when I first met you, and then we got kind of closer because all I really knew of you was you were in your room had dope speakers. And
looking back, I guess I kind of was.
We never really chilled, and then we chilled more when you moved out.
Yeah, back in Whitehill.
Back in Whitehill.
Yeah.
But we chilled a little bit in Res, but more so when we'd both be in in rooms together and chilling. Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
You let me take your fucking big red bin when I got kicked out of res, and that was a lifesaver. So
Yeah, it held up your TV for a while.
Yeah, it held up my TV forever. I'm eternally thankful.
Yeah, it's all yours. You lent me those records.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I got some samples out of the
Good.
records you lent me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, there were a whole bunch of oldies.
So, where'd you grow up?
Shithole Belleville, Bell Vegas.
Is Belleville?
It's good location wise. It's like 45 minutes to Kingston, 3 hours to Montreal, 2 hours to Toronto.
Was it like a Northern Ontario experience? Like kids smoking yachts and like
No, because
bush parties.
Belleville has a city of like 100,000, but it's got a bunch of maybe just under 100,000.
Yeah, it's like a nice developed city, right?
Yeah,
like
it's a nice
like
developed city, but it's got a shit ton of sad like Sterling, Tweed, and so like it's a big city, but it's got like a hick country feel to it, and I am not.
That's
country.
Northern Ontario, right?
I fucking
you know what I'm saying?
I don't give a fuck about your pickup truck. I think you got fucking manhood problems when you jack up your pickup truck and put huge wheels on it. Like, cool. Why are you driving around in the city like that, wasting a shit ton
What are you
of gas?
compensating for, right?
Yeah, like go mudding in that. That's dope. Use that to haul shit. But like you're driving around the city with like your loud ass truck being a fucking douche.
Yeah,
Go
we're
fuck yourself.
coming at you.
Like kill yourself.
We're
I don't fucking care.
you out, bro. Yo.
If you drive a truck, stop listening
No,
right
like
now.
if you got a truck and you're using it properly,
No,
like,
just kidding.
use it,
Buy
but,
my merch. I
or,
love
like,
trucks.
Like if you got a jacked up, like dope truck, then like yeah, I get you want to be proud of it, but like when you drive around the city like flooring it, like that's not cool. Like you got a loud truck, no one cares. You got a loud truck, whoop-de-doo. Same with like if you got like a dope looking car. I don't care when you rev your engine down the street. You're just an asshole.
But sometimes I'm driving down the street and I'm listening to my music really loud.
Oh yeah,
with my windows
you love
down.
that.
But it's like sometimes I feel obnoxious, but then sometimes I don't even like. Why should I even give a fuck?
No, yeah, that's fine when you're listening to music, but when you like drive down the street and specifically rev your engine to like floor it, because like you know your truck is gonna has like a huge V8 diesel engine and it's gonna fucking wake everybody up at like 2:00 in the morning, or even just like normal day. Like why? No one cares. You have a super powerful truck. Go play in the fucking mud with it and do it. That's what it's designed for. I don't know. I just think like you got manhood issues. You got to compensate. Look at me. I got a dope truck. Cool. Go kill yourself.
Yeah. I don't care. Jesus
like,
Christ.
I don't care. It's like,
Jeez.
like, it's fucking dumb when it's like, look at me. I need attention. Like, no. Okay. You're obviously compensating for something. So like, go see a therapist or just like fuck off.
Yeah.
Man,
Like, I'm tired of that shit.
I'm definitely in the same way that I'm not in the culture of being a big loud truck guy or a raised truck guy.
I'm
but
shitting on
man,
trucks,
I
but, like,
gotta
even, like,
admit that back
Ferraris
home,
or
my
whatever.
buddy Damien had his exhaust fell off, and I don't know, there was some nice feature on his truck that just made it super loud. I would love ripping through town with him when he would have his like loud ass truck and he'd rev it, be such a douchebag about it.
Yeah, no, it's like
But
when
it's
you're
like
doing
an
it, you get
ego
it.
feeler.
Yeah, it's definitely like when you're
It's an
doing it, you
ego
get a
feeler.
huge adrenaline rush and everything. But like, think about
Make
all
sure
the
you're
people
talking about
around
that,
you. Yeah, and it's like same with Harleys. I think Harleys are like dope to ride. Would be dope to ride. I've never ridden on a motorcycle, but like loud ass motorcycles, like okay, cool. You're like an annoyance to everyone else on the road, though.
You're right.
Like if you ride in a residential neighborhood, your neighbors hate you.
You're right.
Like
Sounds
every time.
like a first world problem to me, to be
Oh,
honest.
it definitely is. Like in Africa, your neighbors don't hate you because you have a Harley. Your neighbors hate you because you have
Driving through the
rice.
They would hate you if you had a Harley, though. That's the thing. I guess it's a real problem everywhere. Anyways, so what did you take in Algonquin again?
I took two things.
I remember, actually.
I took
I didn't remember
bartending and hospitality and tourism management. And I hated hospitality and tourism management.
Yeah.
Like I liked
You didn't
the
feel
cooking
it, yeah.
aspect and all that shit, but like rooms division, I wasn't a big fan of. Accounting, my accounting teacher was a fucking like the blankest human being. It was like a white
Really?
wall. It was like a white wall talking, but like the white wall also had an asshole that constantly shit on
I'd
you.
honestly think that like accounting teachers could be comparable to like Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah, you can have a
Entertainment-wise.
good accounting teacher, but like when your accounting teacher is like an asshole, but that speaks monotone and looks like just like a geriatric old man. It's like, I don't want to fucking, I don't want to be here. Like, you speak so plainly, you look so plain, but yet you have, like, when I go up to speak to you, you speak to me like I'm a fucking moron. I hate that type of person, so I'd never want. He was just an asshole to everybody. I don't know.
So, do you believe in aliens?
100%. I don't believe, I'm not 100% sure if aliens have visited us here. I think a lot of the people who say that are fucking wackos. Maybe were high when they had their alien experience, air quotations. But like, it's a huge universe. I highly doubt we're alone. I'd be really sad if we are alone. That'd be
Why
that's
would you
more
be
scary.
sad?
That's more scary. Like,
Why?
because like, what happens if we die then? Then the universe is void of life. Like, it's emptiness. That's fucking blank. That's terrifying. But
Only
like,
if we take the Earth with us.
well, like, it seems like intelligent life is kind of a fluke. Well, like, our version of intelligent life that could, expand beyond. Like, dolphins are intelligent and shit, but they're not going to build rocket
Yeah,
ships.
think about how crazy that is.
Yeah.
Just thinking about when I was in Florida, we were driving on a boat. We were staying with this president of this company that my mom's boyfriend knew. We were staying there for a couple of days. We were driving this boat down in the Everglades, and it's like beautiful. And there are dolphins that are coming up behind the boat and like playing in the waves, like clearly playing.
That's so
like
dope.
enjoying them, just like doing flips and like not doing anything, just playing in the wake of the boat.
But yo,
It's like,
if
you
you
see
go,
how smart they are.
if you go to all inclusives, don't and they do shit with dolphins, don't support that because they like cage them and don't let them go.
all that marine
Yeah,
shit
like,
is so
yeah,
messed up, man.
if you go to an all-inclusive resort and they have anything with dolphins, those dolphins live a horrible life, and they're like forced to interact good with humans, or they're like beaten or starved.
Yeah.
So like they obviously
Well, of course,
act
because
good.
if they were anywhere free, they'd be
Yeah,
out of there.
and like when you go there, it's like you see the cages. It's like, this is an animal that swims hundreds of thousands of miles every like week.
It's so sad
And
with
you're
like
trapped
the
in, like, a
orcas
45
too.
Marine land, that should be fucking abolished.
It's fucked. You can't even keep a great white shark in a cage because it'll die.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
You can't. There's
the
no-
longest they've ever kept a great white shark in a cage for is something like 11 days or something.
And that's
then
it, because it'll
yeah.
die. It'll die no matter
Just like
what. There's-
rams itself against the
No,
the
they
wall?
need to like continue moving in a big space. It's something weird about like the way they breathe in the water.
Yeah,
it's like
strange, but they haven't done it.
Yeah,
No, there's
literally.
no great white shark.
So when you see like an Austin or like James,
yeah,
James Bond and
that's-
Austin
they were
Powers,
lying
bro.
to you.
They're lying to me. You can't.
shit's a movie,
I-
you know it. That's you know.
I can't be Dr. Evil with caged great whites with laser beams on their head. Shit.
It's over. The dream's over.
Oh.
Dreams die on
You
this
can
podcast.
Goodbye. I'm done.
You
No.
can replace it with hammerheads. Hammerheads are pretty dope. Too,
Oh, yeah,
you
that's
know what I'm saying? Like, same shark.
You're gonna die by hammerheads with laser beams on their head. Just doesn't flow right though.
Yo, okay, I was thinking about this today before we even were like, oh, let's text Ryan. I was even talking to my buddy at work the other day. I think about when I think about an experience I think I missed out on was an exchange. I know we've talked about this too before.
Yeah.
And I'm like jealous of your German
fucking
exchange.
dope.
Oh.
I would, you know what I mean? I would, looking back on it, I would have loved to do it. I would have loved to go on exchange. Now that
It's
I think about it,
dope.
I was just intimidated at first. Were you intimidated of the experience of going on a exchange?
Yeah. Holy fuck yeah.
But then what made you decide to do it?
Well, I got lucky because there's like a Rotary. There's an organization called Rotary, and it's like a charity for old people.
Yo, the first time I came to Ottawa, bro, was on a Rotary trip, actually. And
Yeah,
they, like,
so like
put me-
they do like good
The
shit.
Rotary Club.
They
Yeah,
fight
Rotary
they
Club.
fight
Yeah.
polio generally in like
They
where-
fight polio themselves.
No, they like they fundraise
Choose
and
your
shit.
weapon.
No, they do a
fundraise
lot
and
of good,
shit.
though.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
do a
yeah.
lot of good.
So it's like a community.
yeah, it's like the Legion or like any other like.
It's not a church, but it's
No. It's just like a group of people getting together.
a community organization.
Yeah. And so my dad was in there and he heard about their exchange program and was like, hey.
So it wasn't through the school.
No.
Okay.
So I went for my grade 11 year to Germany, and in Canada I technically lost my grade 11 year. So when I came back, I had to do grade 11 over again, but I was the age of all the grade 12s. So I
So-
did grade 11 with all of the like grade 9s
Yeah.
when I was a grade 10.
Did you know that in advance
Yeah.
when you went there? Okay.
I knew that my marks weren't going to come back, and that's why I chose. If my marks were going to come back
Yeah.
and like I had to do good in that school, I wasn't going to
So
go.
did you not give a fuck about school in
Exactly. Yeah.
Germany then? Just like,
yeah. I did not give a
like,
fuck.
this is basically a throwaway.
Yeah. I'm going to go to school.
Forget about this.
The only reason why I would go to school was to interact with other German people and like to have fun. But like there was a big asshole bully in my class, so I just like, fuck it, I'm never gonna go. I don't speak enough German to fight him verbally. I'm on an exchange. I'm not gonna fight him physically. Fuck it. I now smoke weed. I didn't smoke weed before I went, but I started smoking in Germany.
Started
Really?
smoking weed in Germany.
Yeah. And
How do they what's it like buying weed or smoking weed in Germany? Like how do they do it?
so there's a website called weebiehigh.com, and it has a list of pretty much every single country and every single city, and you can find where to buy weed in that country/city. So I looked it up and I found weed, and then I asked around when I was at school. I asked around at school and found someone at school.
Do they sell in like coffee shops like
No, that's
like in the
Amsterdam.
Netherlands?
In
Only
Germany,
the
it's illegal.
Netherlands,
Yeah,
right?
only in the Netherlands.
Similar to Canada, though, you'd say, with weed.
Kind of.
As
don't
common, not
really-
as common?
It's as common.
Yeah.
Weed's like everywhere, man. No one gives a shit about weed. But
It's
they
like-
do have
that's
a
like
large
everywhere in
Turkish
the world,
population.
man.
A large Turkish population. So
In Germany?
yeah,
Oh, I didn't know
because like
that.
after World War One, they were also friends with the Ottomans, and then after World
yeah.
War Two, when they're all
Sure, you're talking.
oh shit yeah.
It's okay.
After World War One, they were friends with the Ottomans, and then World War Two, when they were all bombed to shit, they're like, hey, anybody want to come over from Turkey? You can live here if you help us rebuild. At least that's what I kind of got from when they told me their history. So there's a large Turkish population, and they all smoke hash. So I smoked a shit ton of hash.
Yes, see, that's what
Uh,
my homie was telling me.
Yeah, man, hash
in the
is so
Netherlands, that they roll like their hash with nicotine. That's how they serve it at the coffee shops. It's not even like
Yeah,
the
no, so-
flour. It's not even like the butter. It's just hash with
With tobacco.
Like tobacco.
Yeah. So you'd like heat up the hash a little bit, and then you'd pick up, like you'd scrape it off a little bit, and then you could pick up the tobacco in your hands, and you'd pick up the hash ball and you just rub it, and the hash would get all like melt all over the tobacco, and you'd roll it in a cigarette and you'd smoke it and get really fucked. But like
Chichilla.
I think I fucked up my lungs because I smoked like a shit ton of tobacco with no filters or nothing. Like I smoked like more than a pack a day.
Really?
Yeah, like 2 packs a day. I got to the point where like it was too expensive to buy packs of cigarettes, so I bought rolling tobacco
You
and a
just roll
roller
them, eh?
and like a carton of like 1,000 cigarette shells, and I would just boom, 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 boom at night when I was like baked, and just like fucking load like 1,000 cigarettes.
My buddy used to do it just like that. Actually,
and
yeah.
I would smoke that in like a week. I'd smoke like 1,000 cigarettes a week.
But unfiltered.
What?
No way.
That's
That's
ridiculous.
1,000.
That's like hundreds a
I
day,
didn't-
bro. That's like
I didn't go to school.
130 cigarettes.
I was 16.
Yeah, how long does it take to smoke a cigarette? Probably 10 minutes? I don't even know if there's...
Yo, I didn't go to school. I was 16. I didn't
You
go to
must
school.
literally be
So I-
smoking all day
Literally, that's what I
long.
was. Like, I had fucking nothing to do other than walk around my city or take the train to Bad Homburg.
Were you
which was like,
smoking on the train?
No. But like the minute I got off, I'd light up because you could smoke everywhere. Like you could sit
Really?
outside. Like in Canada, you can't smoke out on a patio at a restaurant. In Germany, you can. So like if I wanted a coffee or if I wanted a soda, like
Cigarettes were bigger in Germany.
oh for sure, and there's no pictures of fucking dead people on them or like cancerous tongues or whatever. It's just like it says in German, "This'll kill you." I don't read German. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna smoke it. So I would smoke like cigars. I'd like smoke cigars and like you're not supposed to breathe in cigars, but like it was a €1 pack of cigars for $5. I'm fucking like
it was a lot
hauling
cheaper
this
there.
shit
To smoke
in.
cigarettes.
Like
and
just like
stuff?
coughing up like my lungs. Yeah, and I got to the point where like I could smoke a cigar like a cigarette, and like that's not how you fucking do cigars. Like they weren't like big Churchills.
That
they were
hurts,
like,
eh?
yeah.
You throw up?
No, because like
I've
you
thrown
started.
up doing that.
I've almost thrown up
It's
because like
disgusting.
I went to Cuba and I smoked like a big Churchill cigar. Yeah, but like these ones were like cigarillo cigars, so they're like
Okay.
kind of small and thin, kind of like blunts, but without weed, just like full of tobacco. Yeah, and I smoked them, and like when I came home, like my parents caught me with a bunch of tobacco, and they were like, no, like nuh-uh. And they were more pissed when they found out that I was smoking tobacco than when they found out I was smoking weed.
Jesus Christ. But
No doubt.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
mom would be too.
Yeah.
And it's both because they were like, they both overcame like smoking as a Christmas gift to like all of us. Like me, my sister, and my other sister were like, we want you to stop smoking. We want you to live for when we have kids. And they were like, all right. And they quit smoking, like nicotine patches and fucking cold turkeyed it, and they did it. And so when they were like, you fucking can't smoke when you like made us not smoke. So I don't know, but they let me smoke. They didn't let me smoke weed. I just won the battle. They weren't gonna kick me out because my friend Ty got kicked out, and they saw what that did to him. And also my parents just aren't shit and would kick out their son for smoking dope.
your parents are sweethearts.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
Sweethearts.
I've met them
Yeah.
before. They're really
Yeah.
nice people.
But by the way, your statistic of 1,000 darts a week, you would have had to smoke like 6 darts an hour, which is like a dart every 10 minutes.
Okay, maybe
and
not.
You
Maybe
would
not
have
1,000.
not had a moment of your life.
Maybe not 1,000. Okay, that was an exaggeration. Okay,
Yeah, that's
like-
way.
but
That's
like
a
an
crazy.
ungodly amount.
But you were smoking a shit ton.
Yeah,
How,
and,
it
like,
was
what-
a lot cheaper.
Yeah, it was so much cheaper. Like a big pack of like really good tobacco. It wasn't like the cigarette tobacco. It was like leafy, like stringy tobacco. Not leafy. I guess it was stringy. But like I don't know. It was fucking dope. It was in this like dark blue bag. I don't remember the name. It was like drum. It was drum tobacco in a dark blue bag, and it was like really strong tobacco. Had a lot of nicotine. And like you'd smoke one, you'd get fucked. Like, like that's why I smoked it, because like you'd smoke one and you'd be like, oh fuck yeah, I'm high.
For real
and,
though.
and it was like I got nothing better to do.
So in your
Until, like,
experience, making it a lot cheaper makes people smoke it a lot more. Makes people smoke tobacco a lot more.
I wouldn't say that. I literally had
I would
nothing
say
better
that.
to do
Fair.
other than like smoke. Like I wasn't going to school because like there was a bully in my school, so I was like, fuck it, my marks aren't coming back. So I was literally doing nothing because like my family thought I was going to school. I left for school with their daughter and son, and I would go to class, go to the bathroom,
With the
and leave.
exchange daughter and son.
Can
maybe.
you,
Yeah.
can you
My
tell me
host
about
friend.
this bully?
He was like, a
Was he
fucking-
German?
Yeah, he was
Would
German.
he like yell at you in German?
No, kind of. But he would just like say mean shit to like his friends in German that I couldn't understand,
Yeah.
or that I could like kind of understand,
Yeah.
and like know that they're talking about me, obviously, because it's like it's pretty obvious whether they're fucking speaking Arabic or German or fucking whatever language.
When they're all fucking looking
When they're
at
all
you.
looking at you and giggling, and like you know if they're fucking speaking about you. We actually got into a fight in class, and he like shoved me, and I fell back and like elbowed some girl in the head like so hard. I thought she like had a concussion.
Oh,
Like I went up
shit.
to her after. I was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. And like at that point, I was like, fuck this. Like I'm either gonna fucking like take a pencil and stab him from behind, or like fuck this.
What
I-
just happened?
Yo, man, like if you fucking like fight me
We took a
and then
Reiki
walk away,
here.
I'm gonna get you. Like I was 16, I was vengeful as fuck. Like I wasn't gonna let anybody fight me.
The emotions were high.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And like there was a lot of cute German girls there. Like I wanted to be in school.
I get it.
I wanted to be in school. I didn't want to like not be in school and be like the one exchange student in my district who doesn't go to school. So like
no, sorry, keep going. I interrupted.
No. I ended up getting sent home for for not going to school.
Actually?
Yeah.
Really?
Wait, you got sent home back to Canada.
Yeah, because like I was there on a student visa, and the school was like, "Yo," because they had people in Rotary, working at the school, and they're like, "Yo, he's like never here."
Well, it makes sense that
he's attended like less than a month of school in 9 months So like, what the fuck is he doing? And so when they were kicking me out, I let all that shit be known. They're like, "You should have told us a lot earlier." And I was like, "Probably." But you know, fuck it. I enjoyed my time. It was after
a party, bro.
Yeah. So also, I got really lucky because it was just after we came back from our Euro tour. So Germany has the most countries that border it.
Yeah. How many?
I have no idea. Google Maps it.
Let's do it.
But we hit every one of them except for Poland, Switzerland, and the Netherlands. We didn't hit Switzerland or Poland because we had Colombians in our exchange group, and they need fucking visas.
Oh, really? Wait, to go where?
To go to Poland or Switzerland.
Strange. My mom just got back from Poland.
And we didn't go to the Netherlands because the year before that, somebody got caught bringing weed over the border.
Really? That's the reason?
Yeah, well, like a whole bunch of people brought weed, and then they got this really naive girl. They're like, "Hey, can you hold our bag while we go over the border?" And she's like, "Sure." And then when she was like, "It's theirs," they're like, "I don't know whose it is. That's hers." And Rotary was able to get her out of the country before, she got tried for drug trafficking.
It's scary.
Yeah, Rotary has some pull. Like, there's a lot of like mayors and judges
shout
and
out
shit.
to the Rotary Club of Ontario. They honestly,
but like they're all good people. Like it was obviously like a mishap. Like this, like, and they weren't doing it for like drug trafficking. It was all for like personal amount.
Oh no, I'm not being. I mean that, man. The Rotary Club friggin' does some shit, man.
They care about their kids, and then they care about their kids.
Oh yeah.
They care about the children.
Sorry, keep going.
I wanted to ask you, when you were in Germany, did you learn a lot about the history of World War II while you were in Germany?
I knew a lot about that already, and I tried to learn about it, but it's kind of awkward to bring up, being like, "Hey,
Adolf Hitler?
Remember that time you were all genocidal assholes?"
Yeah, I get it.
So like there are like I went to Hamburg on a Rotary thing with just my Rotary club. So it was just me with a whole bunch of fucking old German people. And Hamburg was bombed flat. It's a port city,
really?
and it was literally bombed flat.
Wasn't all of like Germany?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But like there wasn't a building left standing.
That's crazy.
There was just like chimneys. And so they had like this model of it. And I was like, "Holy shit." And he's like, "Yeah." And the like district governor was with me, and he was before Germany amalgamated, his job was with the Bundeswehr, like the capitalist
like
German
a party in Germany?
So no, like when Germany was split into two,
The capitalist communist side?
capitalist communist, he was like part of the capitalist military who like planned for when the nukes hit, because they were like, Germany was the battleground where World War III would start.
So that was post World War II.
That was after World War II, because all the people who were like World War II age when I went were like dead.
Mm-hmm.
Did
you
all, like,
see
their
any
children.
like Holocaust memorials? Or you never saw one?
No.
My mom said
I wasn't anywhere near like where that happened. I was in Hessen province, which is not where it happened. Like the Holocaust kind of happened up near like the Polish area, and like northern Germany, and like in Russia.
Mm-hmm.
But like I bet I could have gone, like if I asked.
Yeah.
But like it's kind of also like an awkward thing to ask, because like they don't want to go. Like they remember it, they definitely don't forget it. But it's not like it's something.
It's just such an interesting topic to like learn, especially being in that country. It doesn't even seem real. Like, to me, anyways.
The Holocaust?
Yeah.
Isn't it unfathomable?
Unfathomable. Like, how could that even happen?
Yo, it's not even like that. Like, it's horrible. But, like, Stalin killed twice as many people. Mao killed 60 million people. No one talks shit about that.
Yeah, that's true. That's
like,
a true point.
I guess it's like the Holocaust was bad because Hitler, like, went outside of his own borders to find people. Stalin and Mao did it within their own borders. So, like, I guess that's better. Killing your own people instead of other people.
It's really not. It's
but
just
like,
what do you think that is then? Is that like the
genocide.
The glorification of the narrative?
The winner writes history. Hitler lost. That's why the Holocaust is evil.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Russia's still here.
Russia's still here. The Soviet Union fell way later.
Mm-hmm.
China still, they still love Mao.
Yeah.
They say some of the shit he did wasn't like great, but they still love him. Like,
Really, eh? I didn't even know that.
100%.
Crazy.
If you were like going into China and you're like, I don't like Mao, you'd probably get hit in the head.
Really?
Yeah.
Wild.
He's like a cultural leader for them. Eh?
Yeah, they have him literally like embalmed and like mummified in like a glass chamber that you can go and visit.
I've never even known that.
Yeah, same with Lenin.
John
in Russia?
Lennon?
No. Like, like the Soviet Lenin,
I don't know a Soviet Lenin.
the guy who started the Russian Revolution, and the guy before Stalin.
The guy before Stalin.
Yeah, he turned Russia communist, then died, and then Stalin took power. After he was like, "Don't let Stalin take power. He's crazy."
What do you think about bringing up that point of Stalin killing 20 million people? What do you think about like the sentiments of our current generation, should I say, about their thoughts on like Marxism and like communism?
If you see someone wearing a Che Guevara t-shirt, he's a fucking mass murderer. Joe Rogan said this too. Like, it's like that person, you might as well wear a fucking Hitler on your t-shirt. It's like, mass murderer. You're fucking dumb. If you support communism, you're dumb. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
But why?
Because there's no room for innovation. Like, if we're all being paid the same for the same amount of work, why would I work harder than you if I'm going to get paid the same?
No, I agree. I've joked around. I even have joked around on the podcast and been like, "Yeah, I'm a communist."
Yeah, me too. Cheer.
Because
makes sense, but
I do agree with a lot of high tax socialist values, but I definitely am against communism in a very strong way.
You look at like when the communists took power, they like did land seizures, and like a whole bunch of farmers literally executed thousands of cattle and shit instead of giving it up over the states, and it caused huge famines everywhere. Like, it was illegal to talk about the famine in Ukraine, or you'd go to a gulag. And that's where like the huge numbers of Stalin's death count comes from. Not the people that he executed, which was a shit ton, but also the people he starved to death by his communist policies. Same thing happened in China. Mao did like really dumb things and starved a whole crap load of people. Communism doesn't work because people already own their land, and they're not going to give it up to the state without a huge fight or torching it. So like, it makes sense in theory, but like, that's why socialism works. Canada is socialist.
Yeah, I just think absolute power is going to corrupt absolutely.
100%. Yeah.
Like, whoever is at that's why you need to have the balance not within one human's hands.
Yeah, like that's how Lenin kind of wanted. Well, no, Lenin didn't want that. He wanted himself in power. But like, that's how I think how Marx kind of attributed is like, it would be like a communist council of people.
So you don't think that would work? Like
I still don't think that would work.
Like a table of elders?
No.
What if Elon Musk and like...
No,
who
because
else?
like,
Morgan Freeman.
Yo, you can't call him out now.
Santa Claus. He's like all these great figures.
You can't call Morgan Freeman out. He's not God anymore. He's a guy who sexually assaults women.
Oh, true. Me too.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
Shit, dog. I forgot. Okay, well, he's off the list then. Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, I think
I'd have Dave Chappelle on that board. I'd definitely have Dave Chappelle on that board. But why don't you think that would work?
Just because like everyone working in a factory, or like, why would I become a doctor if the doctor gets paid as the same as the janitor?
So do you think
Or why would I become a brain surgeon if a brain surgeon is paid the same as a family doctor?
Do you think money is the denominating motivator for?
Not for everything, but it is a huge factor for everybody.
Yes, that is
Because
very true.
because
I agree.
being able to have
Regardless
more
of your perception of the
Greed-
situation.
greed is a human thing. Like wanting to have more than everybody else is like biological.
We gotta save it for next winter, dude. We
If-
gotta
yeah,
save
it's
the nuts for
biological.
next
So, like,
winter. We're
Like I want a jet ski, but if everybody has a jet ski, like I don't want a jet ski now.
I want to
Like that no, that's the idea, the ideology.
jet fly. Dog.
Like that's why.
And man, I definitely agree that a market system that rewards individuals who work hard is the most important thing.
And, like-
we need that. But I think a lot of the people who wear those t-shirts and who are trying to preach the socialist values are the ones who might think that we've gone a little bit too far with our market system and that more regulation is the thing that we need and
I
that
think you see
Because
it
well,
more
who
in
do
the
you think?
States.
Sorry.
Sorry?
I think you see it more in the States, people wearing Che Guevara t-shirts, because like they don't have free healthcare, they don't have like any of that stuff. Like if you're wearing like a Che Guevara t-shirt in Canada, like what do you stand for? Like we basically have all the same shit he wanted, except for the. Sorry, we're communists. Yeah, I keep fucking up with the microphone. But like we have free healthcare. Like we have a lot of the stuff the Soviets had. We have good like after school programs. We have good schooling. The U.S. is lacking behind in all of that stuff.
But
So like we don't need communism because we're socialist, and socialist on a capitalist society works
But I don't think our government would describe our system as socialist at all.
because it's a trigger word because of America
true.
and the Cold War.
That's true.
If you call it socialist, people think communism, and it's not.
I agree, we have
they're pretty significantly different.
hmm I agree. In Canada, we have a semi-socialist system. I don't know if
Mhm.
I'd describe it as so.
But
As
who-
true socialism.
who do
yeah.
you think has more power at this time in our world? The corporations or the state?
The state, 100%.
The state over the corporations.
Yeah, 100%.
In Canada,
In Canada, 100%.
Yeah.
In the United States, still 100%.
really?
Why?
Because it takes one person to get elected to go, no, I'm not being bribed.
What do you
It
mean?
just takes, because the states have power all the way up until someone says I'm not being bribed.
What do you mean?
Like, what do you mean the corporations have power to influence the government?
No, they have power. They are the advertising. Corporations are the we
Advertising
live
for what?
everywhere. Everything. They are in our heads.
So what do you mean by like power?
How much control they have? You know what's?
Yeah,
I can't believe I'm
the
forgetting
corporations
the
can make you think a certain way, but like
name. No, they
the
can.
government
They
can
can
make you
influence.
do
They
something.
can influence government. Money over government. What's the thing called? I can't.
Lobbyists?
Lobbyists.
Yeah, yeah.
Lobbying. Have you ever? You
oh
know.
yeah. But again, it
Corporations
takes
have-
one person to go, no, I'm not accepting that money, and to run against them, and they still win. Like Obama. McCain was
Obama got
everybody,
many. Got
lots of
many,
lobbies too, but there was more lobbying against him, and he still won. So it takes like the corporations have power as long as their guy wins. So like the state ultimately has the power over the corporations that can just be like, no, like you did something illegal, and literally arrest everybody. Like that rarely ever happens, but the state still retains that power. And if like public opinion goes against them, the government is elected, so they'll go by public opinion. The corporations won't. Corporations, if people turn against a large corporation, they still have their wallet. If people turn against the government, they don't get elected again. So they'll do whatever it takes to please people. So if the people get pissed off at corporations, corporations will suffer from the government.
But people are pissed off at corporations, but nothing's changing.
Yeah, but they're pissed off at Walmart for taking their jobs, but like you can't really do anything about that. Like that's capitalism. Adapt. Like
Yeah.
I think a
Sorry.
lot of people are pissed off at
But-
corporations as a whole.
But
and
that's
but like you need to look more deeply into
But-
it. Like what like
exactly, yeah.
because like it's just like I'm angry at corporations. Boo. What do you mean by corporations?
Yeah.
Like Lockheed Martin for like the military-industrial complex, or Walmart?
yeah. Do you consider
Or, like,
that the
you like-
state or the corporation or a corporation?
Lockheed Martin?
Just the
Both.
military and military industrial complex.
It's both. It's a mixture of corporations and the state.
Because I think the state thrives off that corporation.
Yeah, literally, like,
and without that corporation, the state wouldn't exist.
I saw on like Joe Rogan's podcast.
But that's my point right there. You know what I mean? Without the corporation, the state wouldn't exist. That's why.
No, the states existed before the corporations. The states wouldn't exist without, or the corporations wouldn't exist without the states. Without government to set the laws on business.
Their current economic standing, world, like globally, wouldn't exist without those corporations. So they will do everything to please those corporations.
Yeah, and
that's the issue. That's why I think there needs to be some balance. And like you were talking about capitalism, socialism, as we live in a beautiful country. I've been thinking about it a lot. We are so lucky.
Oh,
yeah. Like in the States, you can have unregistered lobbyists donating thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to re-election funds. You can't do that anonymously in Canada.
No.
Everything is, and that's Doug Ford gotten a huge bit of shit for it, for not disclosing all of his election shit.
Yeah.
Like his finances.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm swearing a lot.
It's alright, dude. Who cares? But
we're gonna have to bleep every one of
everything.
Those
Yeah. Secretly doing Morse code.
Yeah. Well, we have an interesting. Do you think we have an interesting situation in Ontario because we just had an election? Do you think Doug Ford is comparable to Donald Trump?
In some ways.
Like
his personality, for sure.
Does that mean his actions?
We'll need to wait and see. He's in the shadow of his brother, and it's kind of bad. Like, the sins of the father don't pass on the sons.
Everybody knows his brother. What's his brother's name?
Rob Ford.
Rob Ford, the crackhead.
No, yeah, but people knew, like, there were major mainstream.
And why is that again, Evan?
Because he smoked a little crack.
Because he smoked crack cocaine.
No, it was just no. It was just a little crack. Okay.
Yeah, he said that and didn't resign from mayor.
Everyone relax, all right? Rest in peace, Rob Ford.
Yeah,
rest in peace.
He had some really interesting videos of him going through his benefits as like a city. He was the mayor. He's like, I get this for free. I get this for free. I get the bus for free.
I saw that.
He did some interesting videos, some raw videos. He seemed
Very
like
raw.
a good guy.
Very raw.
He seemed like a genuinely good guy. He smoked a little crack. But he was a genuinely good guy.
I agree.
But Doug Ford seems like he's a bit tipsy-turvy. A little slanted.
I don't feel like he has the political know-how. I don't know much about the NDP, but she was a career politician, or at least looked like it. Kathleen Wynne looked like a career politician. Doug Ford did not look like a career politician.
He was a career politician, though.
Yeah, but he didn't look it. Like, they had Brian Mulroney's daughter. If they had elected her, if they had made her, I probably would have voted Conservative instead of voting for Kathleen Wynne if it was Brian Mulroney's daughter.
I just think that he won off a lot of headlines.
He won off a hate for Kathleen Wynne.
Well, the hate for Kathleen Wynne, of course,
and fear of the NDP.
It's very true. That's exactly
nobody trusts the NDP because they ran Ontario once and they fucked up back before we were born.
But I heard more of Doug Ford's policies than anybody else's policies because it was buck a beer. Yeah. That was a policy.
Yeah, he was going after cheap shit.
It's a catchphrase.
It was the same thing as the Liberals did with legalizing marijuana.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's why they got elected.
Exactly.
The Liberals didn't get elected because Justin Trudeau... Erected. I can't speak now. He can't... Justin Trudeau didn't get elected because he likes women or wants a 50-50 cabinet or... this or that.
But I don't think that's why he should have gotten elected either.
No, he shouldn't have gotten elected from that.
I think changing laws like cannabis is why he should have gotten elected, and that's why he did get elected.
Yeah, because I think it's such a big issue.
It is. It's a huge issue.
That's why it was able to sway the vote so much, because it was such a big issue.
But I don't think that it's right now to continue, that's how people are going to win, is by people want, people want to smoke weed or people want cheap beer. That's how I'm going to win my election. It's being running class president being like, oh, we get Fridays off.
But man, that's where I get.
Fuck off. Like, do something good for our country. Like,
Leave it early Thursday too.
That's
Yeah.
where I get torn about it, because the Progressive Conservative Party of Ontario did run on a platform that they were going to do a lot for the lower class party. Like,
I don't
they
know
were
much
going to
about
cut out
their
the
platform.
they were
Carbon
going to
tax.
well, yeah, the carbon tax was a big thing for every consumer. That personally, I think the carbon tax is important, but
Yeah,
a lot of
should've been
people
kept.
believe that it would help the consumer a lot if you
Because
took
they're
away the
filling up
carbon.
trucks
Yeah,
and driving around
and it
downtown.
that is a
really
fair
loud.
but yeah, exactly.
Huge douchebags.
But
Go on.
but they said they were going to lower the lowest income bracket, which is if you make under $29,000 a year right now in Canada, or it's
That's
31,000 or something like that. You pay 15% of that in
Yeah,
income tax,
but they're
but they
gonna
were going to lower that to zero.
That and then drop the minimum wage back to fucking $11.
But they
or back.
weren't going to drop it. They were going to make it non-inflation adjusted. So every year it's supposed to adjust to inflation. And I voted for the Liberal Party of Ontario, but
Keep it 100.
I want,
I'm not
wanted
gonna lie, I'm
15.
not gonna
I wanted
lie.
15 at the end of this year, but we're not going to get it.
I think that
Yo, they're not
the
even
Conservative Party appealed to more of my views than the NDP did. But I voted for
Yeah.
Liberal, so and I
Yeah,
think that
I
they
voted party.
matched my views perfectly, because I think that privatizing hydro was a very important thing to do, that making it a public stock was. I think that a lot of the
Yeah.
social programs that the Liberal Party of Ontario increased, like the free
Medicaid,
prescriptions if you're
yeah.
under 25, I think that was super important. Personally, my tuition, I got way more in the Ontario provincial
What's that?
OSAP. Yeah, I got way more
Yeah,
in
that
OSAP.
was them. That was
Yeah,
them.
that
too.
was
that was
the-
them changing
and
that.
That helped. I don't know.
In Canada, we pretty much have free tuition.
It's very
If you're
close to
in a
free.
s- if
It's
you're in a
very-
If you're
lower
a
bracket,
Canadian.
Mhm.
if you're in a lower bracket and you're Canadian, you pretty much have. It's less than $50,000, I think, for your how much your parents' income is, and you can have free. Or if you're less than that and you're like a single adult living, you pretty much have it free. It's all grants, and that was done by the Liberal government.
And I'm not gonna lie, in Canada, in Ontario, our provincial and federal tax is obscenely expensive if you make a lot of money. If
It should
your
be.
income, I think so too. If you make
Yeah.
over $220,000 a year, your income over $220,000 is taxed at like 54% federally and provincially,
Yeah.
and that's a lot of money. But that's over all of your income over $220,000.
Yeah, it's a lot of money, but like you don't have to pay for when you're sick. You don't have to pay for the.
We get a
hospital or
lot
whatever.
of
Like-
very good benefits.
Do you think I'm wrong for really being staying away from the Conservative Party purely based on their leader?
Yes. Because I think that the leader has a lot of influence in what the party's going to do, but not nearly as much as what the platform says the party's
Do you think
going
it's
to
more
do.
of a marketing tool?
Yeah, very much so.
Mhm.
I think we'd make better political decisions if there were no leader, if there were no figurehead.
Yeah, and it was just like the party and like.
Exactly. If there were no...
Why is there a figurehead?
Because
Because it made sense 150 years ago.
We need a king. Jacob, you
No, but like the town
chosen.
halls. Yeah, the town halls now should be between the people who are running in your riding,
Yeah.
not between the party heads.
That's a
What
very
do you-
good point.
What are you going to do for this riding?
Exactly.
This is what I'm going to fight for this riding.
And that's how we've attempted to structure it in Canada, with the municipal elections being how...
And have the debates more like a Chamber of Commerce interaction, like one side, like a team of responders, rather than just a single person. Because I just think back to the U.S. election, and shit was crazy.
The U.S. election
when
is...
you lose the election and still win.
No, but it's just like the debates were like just reality shows.
Bro, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I
All
don't
you
mean
see
to...
is Donald Trump behind Hillary just looking at her.
It was
Just
a
looking
reality
at
show
her.
because you had a reality TV star there.
Yo, sorry, I don't mean to... But what you just said about how the gerrymandering with you won the election, but you... In Canada,
Yeah.
man, you need 8 seats to get a seat in the House of Commons. And the Liberal Party of Canada got 7 seats, so they fell 1 seat short. they got half as many votes in the province, as the Conservative Party, and they got 1/10 of the amount of seats.
Yikes.
It's like
It's
crazy
embarrassing.
the way the
It's embarrassing how unpopular she was, and she put up terrible ads. They were awful.
They were terrible.
She was like, I'm sorry for doing this. I'm sorry for doing this. But it was all like
You
I'm
can't-
sorry for raising the minimum wage.
You-
Like, no, we hate you. Apologize and say the things that you did wrong on and actually apologize.
No, but you can't be running a marathon and you're like 20 hours in and you look to the crowd and you're like, I know I'm not gonna win, but still keep cheering me. You know what I mean? It's
Yo.
like, I know I'm not gonna finish, but stay with me.
we gotta like quote the ads that she was putting up
Oh my
because
God,
it was
ridiculous.
literally
I'll
like
insert them. I'm gonna put
Yeah.
them into the podcast. so
Okay,
you
okay.
can-
It was
I'll
literally
edit them in.
she would say like, I know I'm unpopular, but that's how all of them started.
We
Yeah.
need to make sure that we do not have a conservative majority.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
she said stuff like-
verbatim.
it was
verbatim.
crazy.
And she'd look at the camera. She'd have a weird twitch. It started from the left of her eye to the right. You know what I mean?
She just looked, she
was.
wasn't telegenic. Like, she wasn't good on TV. And, like, that's why people think
She looked
that,
like a lizard person.
yeah,
She looked similar to Mark Zuckerberg.
exactly. Yeah.
Androids.
And she has, like, that personality, too. Like, just, like, not good on film, not good in person. Like, Mark Zuckerberg isn't someone that I would want to ever meet.
The last person you'd ever want to have a conversation with.
Yeah.
and that's why
It's
I
like if
think
you got stuck on an island and you had to choose to be alone or be with Mark Zuckerberg, I would choose to be alone.
What do you? No, you'd have to be with them, and then you'd have to eat him for
Eat
his
'em?
meat. Dude.
Yeah.
It turns into Lord of the Flies after a while on a fucking island, bro.
But that's why I think we shouldn't base our political decisions off the person running, because
But what?
I
would-
agree with all the criticisms you're giving out about Kathleen Wynne and about the ad she put out and about her personality and whatever. But the Liberal Party of Ontario
It was a
had
great party.
a crazy platform that I
Mhm.
totally agreed with.
Yep.
And I
It was a
had,
great platform,
yeah,
great party.
Oh yeah.
But horrible leader.
Oh yeah.
So what would happen if there wasn't a figurehead? How would it go down? Like how?
well, you have to have somebody representing what the party's going to put out. You
Yeah.
have to have somebody who's going to say what the party's going to do.
Maybe they should do like municipal leaders. That's the only type of leaders. There shouldn't be a leader for the entire province.
But
So-
then every municipal leader would have to agree with what they're going to do with the municipality.
So it'd be like more of a federation. So like
yeah.
Sweden, or I think it's Sweden or Switzerland does it, where it's like their province is basically its own country, and they all agree that they're going to be in the bigger country.
So they all it's limited federal issues, but there is
Yeah.
federal stuff.
So like if weed wanted to be legal, the federal government would pass being like, hey, we want weed to be legal. Then it would go to all of the provinces, and the provinces would be like, all right, do we want it to be legal? Because
it's-
they're basically their own entity.
It's like the states.
Yeah, that
in
sounds
like
a lot like
perfect
the
world.
states.
As-
Yeah.
The states in a perfect world.
Yeah, but like the states is not like a good federation or.
But that's essentially
Yeah.
what they advertise.
yeah, that's what they
themselves to
advertise
be. Yeah.
themselves as, but they're not.
See, I used to think that exact same way, though, and I would debate that makes the states a better country since there's so much diversity among the states within the
Yeah,
country.
but if it actually
I know what you mean.
worked as a
That
good federation, then it would be good. But like, there's too much federal oversight to do, like, for it to actually be a federation.
but the provinces are so independent from one another with the laws that they're willing to pass, and the
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Like, California legalized weed, but there's still FBI raids all over it.
And they threaten them federally,
Yeah,
and
they
they have the
threaten them.
power
Okay, I
to
see,
do
I
that.
see.
like,
what
like
you're
they can,
saying, yeah.
like the state can step, like the government can step on a state.
Mhm.
They can't really do that.
There's many federally
Yeah.
enforced regulations.
Mhm.
I think California is going to secede.
I don't think so.
No?
No, that
No. What about in the next 20 years?
never.
I think it's possible, but unlikely
It's more
in the next
like
20
Quebec
years.
is more likely to secede than
Oh,
California.
of
is.
course. They hate us.
But like if
they
if California tries to
fucking
secede, it will cause a civil war.
English motherfucker. They hate us.
Yeah, whatever.
You go there,
separatist dogs.
you're gonna go there and you're gonna drive. Don't drive with the Ontario plate in Quebec because
Man.
you'll get pulled over.
I would say
You will get pulled over.
I would say there's
You-
just as much adversity being a Quebec Canadian coming to Ottawa as there would be being.
No, he's gonna look at you like you're a black guy. Like that's how he's gonna look at you.
No,
Man,
'cause,
I
like,
think we're super discriminatory
the
against
Quebec
Quebec
person
people
will come over
in
into
Ottawa.
Ontario.
I personally am. I'll admit my bias. All right.
I don't get it. Is like I don't speak French, and I know we're a bilingual country, and I'm ashamed that I don't speak French. But sorry, like you are a small part of our country. Like the rest of the country shouldn't learn to speak French for the small part of this country. They should learn to speak English, but also keep their language.
It's kind of nationalistic. It's a nationalistic view that they have in Quebec. It's like this is we want to sustain this culture. We're gonna enforce laws from the state on practices in order to sustain this culture.
And they do things so illegal. Their sign law is completely illegal. That you have to have a bigger, like if you have a English sign in Quebec, you can get fined huge amounts of money.
The
if
French
it's smaller,
one has to be like 3 times bigger
Yeah.
or whatever, right?
they
Or
also
something like that.
almost lost air travel to all of Quebec because they forced their pilots to speak French. Air traffic all over the world, in China, in Russia, in France, is all done in English. The ground controller speaks to the pilot in English. English is the language of flying. And
we
Quebec,
real did.
Yeah, and Quebec was like, nah, you got to speak French. And they're like, fine, fuck it. We're not going to fly into Montreal Airport. We're not going to fly in Quebec Airport. If you want to go, drive to Toronto. Drive to New
Insane.
Brunswick.
Really?
Yeah. And then
crazy.
and then the government was like, oh, fuck, fine.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Quebec's an interesting place. Cheap beer.
But I think
Yeah,
that in
cheap
Ontario, our view, especially because we're the biggest province and we're the wealthiest province, we have this nationalistic view as well that we're
I
not
don't
going to
think we're
speak
the wealthiest
French
anymore.
Oh yeah.
You
We
think?
definitely are.
We are?
We got
Oh, yeah.
Toronto, dude. Toronto's the hub.
Oh, okay. I would have thought like Alberta with all the gas.
No, it's low.
True.
Price is low, dude. We're holding it
And
for the
man,
next
we
few
just have
years.
so much population density. I feel like
Yeah.
our wealth would be off the charts.
Yeah.
Yo, so are you guys worried about the shit with the states?
About tariffs?
Everything.
About just how they treat us? Like, I don't think the United
Oh, the
States is our
tariffs.
ally.
My mom is buying no U.S. products.
Good.
We were at beer market today, and we were like, no U.S. beers. Only Canadian beers or Belgian beers.
Yeah, or like European.
Yeah. No.
Literally, I think
I
Canada.
am strong for a strong trade system and a strong. I am not
Yeah,
even scared of the
but-
tariffs
but
put on by
but
the states
what-
at all.
Okay, but what Donald Trump is saying is he wants us to remove. I don't know exactly what they are. I guess they would be tariffs. We have tariffs on their dairy industry, and they want us to lift those so we can buy more dairy because we are being unfair to them. We're only buying a limited, and we're staying within our quota because
Mhm.
we make dairy to how much we consume. So if it's consumed, we're gonna make that much. But U.S. makes an abundance, so
Also-
they're trying to push the overflow onto Canada, and we don't want that to happen because we already have make to order.
And I don't trust the U.S. milk because like their FDA and like how they take care of their animals and their regulations on what they can feed their animals, the steroids they can give their animals is so different than Canada. The shit that goes into the U.S. milk is completely different than Canadian milk. You're gonna get different.
That's annoying. Sorry, dude.
No problem. You're gonna get like weird hormones and shit in U.S. milk, and I don't want that. Like, if it were to come in here, I think it would fail. I don't think people would buy U.S. milk. People would boycott it. There'd be something in the news, and they'd do a thing on some factory milk farm in the States, and people would see how they treat their cows, see how they like force feed them steroids to keep them milk,
Yeah.
and how like their udders are literally about to explode, and then they show like a Canadian milk farm who's like, I'm poor now because of that.
It's
people
just
would be-
so strange. It's so strange about the relationships that Donald Trump
Well,
is persuading in the media. So he's
Yeah.
pushing us away, and he's having these meetings
Koreans.
with Kim Jong-un in Singapore,
China, Russia.
and it's a photo op. That's all they're doing. I saw this stupid ass meme where it's like the Office intro, and it's like Donald Trump over there is like, yeah, make sure you're taking good pictures so we look, you know, very handsome and thin. And then like the camera pans out Office style, goes over, looks at Kim Jong-un, his mouth's open, he's like looking around, and it just cuts to the intro of The Office. But it's just like a photo op.
Yeah.
And why is
Trump gave Kim everything he wanted?
You know what he said? He said Kim Jong-un, when he speaks, his people sit and watch, and that's how he wants his people to be. That's literally what he said. He said that verbatim.
I want to be a dictator.
Yo, because we have a governing body in this world on the earth called the World Trade Organization that governs certain laws that countries will make that discourage the trade from other countries.
Yeah.
And there have been specific
Grab me a beer.
and there have been specific cases. There was even this one. Yo, this is a crazy story, bro, where in like the 60s and 70s, you know how like when you were in high school or whatever, did you smoke flavored cigarillos? Like honey teas or Colts or anything like that? Or,
No.
oh no, they were freaking huge when I was in high school.
Okay.
I was never a big tobacco guy, but I would smoke these every now and then. And back in the 60s and 70s, flavored cigarettes were huge. You used to be able to get like vanilla cigarettes.
Yeah,
or, like,
I know that.
Yeah. And the states decided one day, they were like, all right, this is bad for our health. You know, it's encouraging kids to smoke.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to make flavored cigarettes illegal. But in their law that they passed through, they didn't specify that mint is a flavor. And so, get this though, there's like a specific tobacco that is used to grow the flavored cigarettes. It's like a pedal tobacco that's only grown in Indonesia. But all of the tobacco used to make regular cigarettes, including menthols, is grown in the United States. And so when the states changed this law, Indonesia, their exports died down because they were exporting it mainly to the U.S., who was importing almost all of it.
Oh shit!
And so Indonesia went to the World Trade Organization, and they were like, "This is bullshit. Like the U.S. killed our economy because they're obviously passed this law that's incredibly discouraging on Indonesia," and so they won in the World Trade Organization court or whatever it is.
Yeah, the U.S. didn't do anything.
They made a ruling where they had to pay like $400 million or something ridiculous like that.
Wow.
And then, exactly like you just said, the U.S. didn't pay it.
Yeah.
They passed through this other law where...
What is Indonesia going to do to the United States?
Trump's saying.
Well, they made it so that they could sell those flavored cigarillos, which came from that same flowered pedal tobacco that was grown in Indonesia, and so they were able to continue exporting it into the U.S.
Oh, okay.
You think China's going to be the next superpower?
But my point to that is that if the U.S. ever made it so that we literally couldn't do trade with them because of laws that they were passing through about tariffs or whatever it was, then the World Trade Organization would step in and be like, no, you can't do that.
I don't think Trump's going to listen to it.
It's a state above a state. It's the ultimate state.
Literally, Trump, the first thing he said when he came into office was America first. The World Trade Center, or the World Trade Organization, is not America first.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
Yeah, bring it up that. No. But like America first doesn't mean like it means that I don't give a fuck about anything. Like if it doesn't, if I don't think it benefits America, I'm not doing it.
But the thing about Trump is it proved that there's checks and balances within that government.
No,
I think so.
He's still getting away with everything.
No, he put out a travel ban, and this travel ban was blocked by Supreme Court because it felt it was illegal against the Supreme Court of U.S. Like those are the checks and balances that we have that are appearing evident now. That the power isn't. He has more powers in his tweets.
Yeah, but like. The checks and balances, like that's like the one big thing that they killed was the travel ban. But like all of his other shit,
that's a big thing.
That is a huge thing.
That's a big thing.
But like he still like grabbed a woman by her pussy, or like said he did.
He said he did.
Yo, will you grab me a beer?
But like that shit, honestly, it's retarded, and you don't want someone like that who said that in office. But it doesn't matter. That's my opinion.
I think it does because it
does
you need
in
to
a
have
public
a
opinion.
respectable leader. Like the NATO doesn't respect Trump. The G7 doesn't respect Trump. This is going to impact America well after Trump leaves office. I personally think that the rest of the G7 and Europe should leave NATO and leave the United States on its own and band together, and we should have missiles. We should have nuclear missiles. Europe should have nuclear missiles, and they should be pointed at 3 people.
My homie
3 different
Luke,
countries.
Luke talks about
They should be
us
pointed at the
being
United
invaded
States.
often.
They should be pointed at Russia, and they should be pointed at China, because we should have more close ties with Europe than with the United States. I get
I
that
was talking to
Europe
my mom this morning.
is across an ocean, and the
Yeah.
United States is literally just right there.
Yeah.
But like they can't be trusted now, being able to elect so crazy shifts in government from Obama to Trump. Now they're going to elect another Obama, like not another black Obama. I mean, like someone like Obama, like who is smart and educated and who knows how to take care of the country. And he's going to get 2 terms. And then they're going to get fed up with him, and they're going to want to tear the system down again, and they're going to elect another George Bush or another Trump.
So do you think it's
America can't be
do you
trusted?
think it's a non-harm? Do you think it's a harmful cycle?
Yeah, because they literally did a study. If the world banded together, not using nukes, if the world banded together, they could not defeat the United States. The United States could invade Canada, could invade Mexico, and hold at the Panama Canal, and its navy is large enough, and they can produce ships fast enough to beat China, to beat Russia, to beat the UK, and to stop an invasion of the U.S. homeland.
They spend 10 times what?
Yeah,
their
barring nuclear
competitors did.
missiles. Thank you.
$600 billion.
The U.S. government could take on the world and win. So I think that they are a threat. Like right now they're doing good, but like what happens like in
I don't think they're doing good.
Well, like they're doing good in the fact that like they have enough resources to feed their people. Like I think when that shit turns to like, oh, we're starving, the world's going to crap, and they still have 15 to 20 aircraft carriers floating across the ocean.
That's when they start war.
Yeah, and they have like 400 nuclear subs.
Start building
it's just
more
like,
bullets.
all right,
That's
whatever. Like, all right,
factories.
Canada has a lot of fresh water, or like whatever. Like this country has a lot of oil. They've already done that. Like
we have the most land per capita in the entire world.
Their operation name for the liberation of Iraq was Operation Iraqi Liberation.
We come to liberate motherfuckers.
No, like the acronym was OIL, oil, Operation Iraqi Liberation. The acronym was fucking oil. Like that's not, like how dumb can you be?
And that war, the repercussions of that war are still being felt today.
Yeah, and they changed it to Operation Iraqi Freedom, OIF. But originally it was oil.
That's fake.
The acronym was
fake.
oil.
That's
100%.
fake. Just shows up oil.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy, man. But that's what happens. They start wars to fuel their economy. That's kind of what got them to where they are. World War II. The war was fought in Europe. They were sending bullets, ammunition, missiles. They were creating all that. Never got touched. Always sending
it to Russia and
everywhere. They were supplying the entire world with bullets.
Yeah.
And they didn't have to rebuild. The entire world had to rebuild. Japan, China, Germany, all of Europe, all of Russia. It all had to rebuild, but U.S. was still on top at that moment.
Yeah.
And that's what their economy has been built on since day one.
Europe got rebuilt by American construction companies.
Exactly, but that's why they've been on number one. It's war. Their economy falls on. Sorry,
going back to trade, Vietnam dropped all of its war crimes charges against the United States for Agent Orange and napalming and indiscriminate civilian bombings. Because they were scared of China and they needed military hardware. So the United States was like, we'll sell you military hardware, but you got to drop all of your claims about the shit we did in Vietnam.
Easy. Done.
Makes sense
Yeah.
because
But like, if you look into the history, like the Zippo raids, where like American GIs would literally walk into a village, open up their Zippos, and just walk along all the straw huts and light them on fire. Don't care if the people are in it or not. Like,
Shit was savage.
you know,
Yeah.
Agent Orange literally still causes birth defects today,
oh yeah.
and they sprayed that shit all over Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's causing birth defects in American soldiers, not like, let alone the friggin' Vietnamese,
Mm-hmm.
who like they blanketed their entire country in it.
We talk about like with the bombs that were dropped on Lil Boy and
Yeah,
what was it?
Little Boy and Fat Man,
Lil Boy and Fat Man on
Yeah.
Hiroshima and
Nagasaki.
But the U.S. Army napalmed, like, set like all the major cities on fire. They set
Yeah,
Tokyo on fire. All that
Their
shit was on
firebombing was
fire.
way worse than the atomic bombs.
Killed so many more people.
More people died in Dresden when they firebombed that. It was a German city. More people died in Dresden than in the atomic bombs, and it was worse because they firebombed it so bad that it created a firestorm where it literally sucked in people. It was a hurricane of fire.
I just feel it's a little bit different with the napalm and the bomb because the napalm was a war that we had more advanced technology and we were using napalm and it wasn't good.
Napalm was done in the same war as the nuke.
Yeah.
But the nuke was an advanced weapon that we used that killed 250,000 people in one flash.
Yeah,
but
So
you know
it's-
what
it's
happened?
a lot
They
more
dropped.
scary the fact that like if one plane gets through with one bomb, a
No.
250,000 people are gone. But
Hey.
to napalm an area, we need 500 planes with thousands of bombs.
They nuked, and Japan did not surrender after the first nuke.
No.
They nuked them.
They were going
and
to.
then they said fuck that. No,
Japan was going to surrender, and they nuked them.
No, they
them.
nuked them, and then 2 days later they dropped the second nuke, and they still didn't surrender.
No, if you look you can look into it more because they didn't need to drop the second bomb.
Of course they didn't. They didn't
No,
need to
no,
drop the first bomb.
They did need to drop the first bomb. They did, but because Japan
What the-
no, because like the reason Japan was thinking about
Yeah.
surrendering after the first bomb, but they still held Manchuria. They were only at war with the Allies, and they were negotiating with the Soviets for a peace deal, not an unconditional surrender. And that's what we got with the second bomb, was an unconditional surrender. So they were negotiating with the Soviets, and the Soviets were leading them on like, yeah, I think that there's going to be a better peace deal. Keep fighting.
Mhm.
And then the Soviets turned around and took all the troops from Germany, transferred them across the country, and invaded Manchuria. And then that's when Japan surrendered, is after they invaded Manchuria.
And then-
So they were trying to seek a separate peace from the Soviets because they didn't want an unconditional surrender. They wanted their honor, typical, Japanese World War II samurai shit.
But think about how crazy that is. Okay, think about how many people died. Think about how ruthless and fucking vigorous that war was. People were
Oh, it was
kamikaze.
insane.
Japans were driving planes into motherfuckers.
They
Like, this
made
shit-
planes with rockets
they
and a
had
bomb on the front of it.
bayonets on the end of their rifle, thinking that they were about to have hand-to-hand combat with another motherfucker. Like, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, that'd be
Everybody
nuts,
can't
eh?
imagine bullets flying past your head, and you gotta running to the next disgusting trench filled with human body parts and shit and fucking
And that,
stabbing mother.
like, that would be way
What the
worse because, like,
fuck?
it's island hopping. So, like, you have to deal with malaria. You have to deal with, like,
Everything,
all these,
bro.
like,
You
terrible
You get
bugs
one
and
pair
shit.
of boots. You get one pair of boots, and that's it.
Better hope someone dies in your size.
For real, you're searching. But so that's the worst war that we've had since then. It's been 70 years, 80 years.
I wouldn't say
almost
it's-
80 years.
I wouldn't say it's the worst war. I'd say it's the largest war we've had.
No, I mean in the past, like the latest largest war.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're 80 years in. What do you guys think that mutually assured destruction keeps
Yes.
this world
100%.
alive?
100%.
So do you think everybody needs to have nukes?
No, because they're
I don't either.
no. But like, I think the way it is right now is pretty good. Russia, China, France, UK, Like the big players have nukes.
Kind of balances itself out,
Yeah.
sort of, right?
Like India and Pakistan fucking hate each other. Both of them have nukes. Both of them aren't killing each other. Like they absolutely hate each other. And if given the opportunity, they would nuke the other country. But because if they launch nukes, the other people launch nukes, no one can go to war with each other. I can't invade you because you'll nuke me. And if you nuke me, I nuke you. So
And
we're
then
both dead.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it's obvious that NATO is a alliance that's entirely dependent on the U.S.'s military.
Well, yeah, I
ability, and
think we need to end that.
I think it's totally necessary.
I think we need to cut the U.S. out and let it be on its own.
How
and
are we
create
going to
a
cut the
military-
U.S. out when they're the denominator for most currencies in this entire...
It shouldn't.
but that's what it is.
It is because
How do
they
you
say
get
it
out of
is.
that?
It is because they say it is, and the rest of the world goes along with it. But if the rest of the world said no, we're doing it on the euro,
Yeah.
then the U.S. would be fucked. Or we're doing it on the Chinese yen, and that would piss America off.
Yeah. Oh my god.
But like we're doing it on a more stable currency than the U.S. dollar. The U.S. dollar isn't a stable currency.
Well, not really anymore.
No.
We're getting to a point in time where it isn't.
Like
Well,
the
a big
euro
part of the
or
reason
the
we do it off of
pound
the U.S.
is
currency is because such a large part of the world's wealth is based in the U.S., but more importantly, a large part of the world's debt is based on the U.S. Because
Mhm.
in Canada, for example, we have a large debt compared to our wealth as well, but 80% of our debt is held by domestic banks. Well, in the States, I think something like 20% of their
It's
debt
held by
is held
foreign
by
banks.
domestic banks, and something like 60 or 70% of it is held in foreign debt.
Yeah, because you can sell debt.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
where the government bonds are sold, and that's why you hear a lot about in the
So
media
th-
about China
So
owning
they
a lot
have
of the
everybody's economy by their throat, really, because they have acquired their debt.
Well, it's because the U.S. has had the most reliable debt. So if a foreign government is going to buy anybody's debt as an investment, they would
They
want
know
to buy
the
the
US will pay
safest
them
one.
back.
Yeah, exactly. They want to buy the U.S.'s debt.
But they got downgraded. I don't know if they've been re-upgraded. They got downgraded a while ago.
Really?
I think back when Obama was in power, because they didn't want to raise the debt ceiling. And so no, it might have been when Trump. They didn't want to raise the debt ceiling, so they got downgraded from AAA to AA.
That's a very big deal. If
Yeah,
that,
it's a huge deal.
mhm.
I think it
Um,
happened recently.
Oh, okay.
I think it happened recently.
So they might not be re-upgraded, but yeah, like the U.S. is not a stable place to put your money. Like, I don't know.
Buy Canadian. People
Yeah.
buy Canadian. Like, if you live in
I
Canada, buy
honestly
Canadian.
think, like, I'm pissed that our government doesn't do things like we should have a NASA. America's NASA
But think about it. Our population is the same as California.
But that's
we
the thing
need
is,
to-
if we had those things to bring people in, to bring intellectuals in,
Yeah.
if we had the Large Hadron Collider,
Yeah.
instead of building that in Europe or building one in the States, if we had that, we would bring in a lot more people.
But you got to think about it. You got to think about the patients. Shopify is right down the corner. That is one
Literally
of the,
right down the street
literally
from us.
right down the street. Shopify is right over there. It's one of the largest e-commerce businesses in the entire world, and
It's
they
like a
come from Canada.
$16 billion market cap right now.
Biased, but I look at art. Like Drake is the
True.
most popular artist in the entire world. People are coming here. It's a hub. We are creating. We
But
are
like also,
smart
like-
citizens.
yeah,
we
we create people. We created Justin Bieber. He lives in the States. We created Austin Powers. I forget his name. He lives
Yeah.
in the States. We created Captain Kirk. I forget his name.
yeah.
Oh my god, I'm gonna get shit.
But
for forgetting his
regardless,
name. William
regardless,
Shatner. He lives in the States. Like all these famous people live in the States. Like I get the States
Mhm.
have better weather, but like, fuck, you're Canadian. Buy a Canadian house. Live in Canada. Spend Canadian money. Like move to BC if you don't want winter.
it's just unfortunate that the hub for that is in
Hollywood.
the U.S. But now that the internet is
Mhm.
available, this is the hub wherever
Well, like,
you are with the computer.
Elon Musk is Canadian,
Elon Musk is South African.
but he was raised in Canada.
Yeah. He had his education.
He's
He-
Canadian.
He came
I think it
to
was
Canada.
Queens or something.
He came to Canada for university,
Yeah.
which was at Queens.
I thought he lived in Canada.
No,
No, he was from South Africa.
He lived in South Africa until he came for school. But Elon
Oh.
Musk, think about it, the smartest guy in the entire world came to university in Canada.
Mhm.
I thought he lived in South Africa for a little bit and then moved to Canada. Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I'm wrong there.
He think about that. He came to Canada for our education.
System, yeah, it's way better than the States.
100%. So we
McGill
got
University is one of the best in the world.
That's why we got to build patience, because we are living in a great system. We are able to have these conversations. We are even able to like be aware enough to have these conversations. A lot of these conversations we wouldn't be having in like deep southern middle of the
think
way
so?
states. No, it's different. It's different. We don't get the information we get because we're so privileged.
True.
We get Wi-Fi everywhere.
Mhm.
Like, who knows? We get internet everywhere, but people are watching Fox News all the time, and that's all they get.
Mhm.
And that's a
Yeah.
different source of information.
Canadian news like CNN or not
CBC.
CNN, CBC. Like that's some great shit. And the
It's
national.
interesting because that's state-run.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah?
Yeah.
CBC is a
Oh, yeah.
state-run company.
Huh.
And
They
I
talk
totally
shit about
agree.
The
It's-
government. They shit on the government.
Oh,
a
yeah.
It's a
lot.
good one, but it's a good one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they hold them accountable.
And
They
that's a
don't shit on them.
reflection of our society, and that's why we should be so grateful to be Canadians.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? We revolve around truth. We seem to revolve around truth more than the Americans. No offense to any Americans, right? But this is a generalization. We seem, especially, it's a reflection of our political system too, right? We focus on issues rather than person.
Yeah.
It's less of a celebrity, but it kind of was a celebrity thing this time. Justin Trudeau kind of was a celebrity.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess that's just what happened. That's what's happening with social media.
To be honest, I think anybody who said they're going to legalize weed would have been a celebrity.
Cheer,
But-
cheer, cheer.
But Trudeau also had that.
420 blazing.
It was a huge.
Trudeau had
part
that
of the
name, and the
platform.
fact that he was like attractive helps.
That
Like,
made
having,
a
Yeah,
big
having,
difference.
he's
It
having
made
an
a-
cute.
attractive political person actually helps so much. Like
Oh,
that's
yeah.
why Nixon didn't win. Like Nixon
He
looked
was
like
an ugly
shit
motherfucker.
on TV. Well, JFK.
Ooh, JFK was
killed it. He was a
banging
TV guy, and he looked gorgeous. And he
bitches
was
out
like,
here.
whatever.
Dude. No, he was killing it, dude.
He was killing it all the way up until he got killed.
Everyone's got their vice, and JFK's was pussy, dude. Great
His
guy.
wife was banging though.
Of course, but there's nothing like a little sigh. Pussy. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, well, it's been an hour and a half. I'm getting really sweaty, and I want to
Yeah,
go.
this is a good podcast.
It was a great podcast. Yo, I really appreciate you
Oh
coming.
yeah,
Ryan.
thanks for having me on,
It
guys.
was fun. We'll do it again because I'm leaving for Toronto
All right,
in
for
September,
Sure.
so we'll do it again before we dip.
What are you doing in Toronto?
School.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm out of here.
Oh fuck.
4
Enjoy.
years, bro. I appreciate it, but we'll do it before.
Yeah.
We'll hang out before.
Alrighty.
I appreciate you for joining us, Jacob.
yeah,
Really
always.
appreciate the insight you added to this conversation.
Yeah.
Always.
Thank you, Jacob.
Love you. All right. Peace.
Peace.
Bye bye.